The Substance, a 2024 masterpiece, starring Demi Moore and Margaret Qualley and directed by Qualley Fargit. I'll get straight to the point. As soon as you have time, watch this film in one go, because it will become a cult in the next 10 years. But already now, it is one of the most successful and best made films in the last period. I want to make a small premise. I am not a body horror lover. I mean, I appreciate when the production knows how to make special effects, but hey, we are in 2025. CGI has made great strides, and let's be real, I am not a post production expert. However, I love sci fi cinema. You know, that strand of dystopian future themed films that creates metaphors about the contemporary world. We all know Black Mirror. Well, this movie is the perfect mix of those two elements. During this video, I will tell you at least 20 times to catch up on this gem. But for those who have already seen it, like me, make way for comments and interpretations because we can have some real fun here. Hi guys, I rarely feel the need to talk about the films that impress me, partly because I haven't seen enough of them to consider myself an expert. But it was way back in 2020 with The Platform, another great cinematic work, that I hadn't felt certain feelings. The Substance is one of those films that, when you watch it from beginning to end, it never makes you take your eyes off the screen. Terrifying. I find myself writing this video days after seeing it for the first time. Because the material to discuss is really huge. This is not a classic blockbuster. Okay, let's start with the plot. Demi Moore is an established fitness star almost at the end of her career. I don't want to go into too much detail because I risk spoilers, which I already dislike, especially in this case. The less you know, the better. Suffice it to say that, because of her age, her boss is determined to liquidate her. You know how the fashion world works. Anything that even gives the appearance of being aged gets dumped for what is newer. How do you think she took it? That's right, really, really badly. During a visit to the hospital, however, she is informed by a rather bizarre doctor, to understand he looks like an avatar, that she is perfect for a particular experiment. And this is where I stop and have to tell you, watch it. The Substance is the future told in the present. Elizabeth Sparkle's story is masterfully told. What happens is never taken for granted. And if every once in a while you think you know how the movie is going to go, it blows you away in 2 seconds as if to say, no, dude, you didn't understand shit. In short, everything that has to happen during the movie happens when it has to happen. The pace is brisk, but never too frenetic. I really appreciated the choice to alternate relatively calm periods where the viewer can reflect or at least recover oxygen with moments of pure total chaos. Some crazy techniques are used in post-production. I noticed in various parts the alternating montage typical of the 30s Russian films, like Red October. This is a technique that alternates two seemingly different scenes to enrich them with meaning. For example, during a scene of a soldier leaving for war, shots of a cow about to be slaughtered are alternated. Think about it. The Substance dramatically develops several themes of today's society: the cult of beauty, the objectification of women, the curse of an addiction, bipolar disorder, Then there are references to such films as The Shining, Death Becomes Her, and even Snow White. There is a critique of Hollywood life. Themes such as eating disorders and self acceptance are touched upon. I found the parody of motivational videos really funny. The substance taken in is advertised in this film as the elixir of youth. So much so that the commercial says, "Would you like to have a better version of you?" And the exciting stuff about this horror movie is that it reflects exactly what is happening in real life. No one really wants people to grow up. People who promise this want to sell you a version of you that suits them. That is called homologation. My brain explodes at even the thought of certain scenes. Watch it because I swear you will change the way you see many things, even of your daily life. This phantom better version is developed in the film as pure image, appearance. There is one scene, spoiler alert, but almost all in my opinion, where Margaret Qualley looks like she's made of plastic. I swear to you, she appears as a body wrapped in cellophane ready to be shipped. Yes, that's what I want when I watch a movie. I don't care about being sedated. I want it to wake me up. Let's leave out watching light contents. It's okay to turn off the brain once in a while. And let's be real, I'm the first who watched a lot of YTP, so not just a learning machine. But when I want to amaze myself with a production, when I watch for the sake of cinema, I want the vision gives me shock. Every scene, every line has to be a punch in the stomach, has to leave me speechless. And no, I am not exaggerating because I have experienced these feelings even with other films that are called masterpieces by the critic itself. I mean, it's not like I'm all that talented at unearthing titles that are worthwhile. I just know a few rules of lighting and editing and some camera techniques to emphasize themes and characters. Little stuff. But this film is worth watching. If it captures someone like me, an ignorant in this field, it means it made its mark. But then, the music and sound effects, guys. Movies that are really worthwhile are the ones that, beside being watched, have to be listened to, but not in a metaphorical sense. There are close and extreme close-ups where, I'm not kidding, you literally get inside the heads of the characters. The sound design is impeccable. The fidelity in reproducing the sounds that human beings perceive in certain moods is something that cannot be described. This film must be watched, nothing to discuss. Probably the reason why it captured me so much is the choice to deal with the theme of self-acceptance. I talked earlier about motivational videos where you can extrapolate phrases from athletes and celebrities. You make a mindless mix of them and you find yourself fighting two opposite worlds. On the one hand, our own way of being, and on the other hand, one of the ways we want to look, which happens in the substance. On the one hand, there is an ideal, which comes from the outside, stereotyped, what is called grow up by society and the masses. And on the other is you, the you that is trying to come out, the real improved version of you. An inner conflict ensues where, if we already didn't accept ourselves before, we come to hate every side of us, slowly ending up becoming the monsters of our mind, basically destroying ourselves. My god, if I haven't said it, watch this movie. Because yes, it is pseudoscience, no matter how hard they try to explain, at least in part, what happens, but that is not the point. The path Demi Moore's character takes is not invented out of thin air. On the contrary, it is what, to a lesser extent, most people experience, from movie stars to Mr. Nobodies like me. The substance does not invent, but rather takes to the extreme limit realities that already exist. Far-fetched but not impossible dystopias. Are you familiar with Aldous Huxley, The New World? That novel where everyone takes a substance that, in theory, leads us to do what we are most suited for in life? Well, the concept is about the same here. Really, I will go on and on about this movie, but I really risk telling you all about it. So, one thing I haven't said: watch this pearl in the sea. I want to conclude like this: films and cinema, if it is used well, is therapy. I had already thought of making a video about it, but as I said, my film culture is poor. Maybe I will do it later. However, when an artwork is really done well, it is not only aesthetic, it conveys concepts which human language cannot formulate without getting lost. But so you can ask me, why am I talking about it? Well, because this is just a calling card for the real content. All the more reason, watch this film, watch the substance, and you will understand much more than what has been said by me. So, The Substance, a sci-fi horror movie. Scary? Not so much. Do I consider it an impactful film? Absolutely. Boring? What? No. Challenging? Maybe. You can decide it. Well, I hope this review has been to your liking. I am sure I will bring more videos in which I talk about the films that impressed me. But there is time for everything. There is no need to get caught up in the rush. There is also no need to get trapped inside the image of us from the past. And I leave you with this sentence because it is the meaning of this film. We can always start again. The important thing is to stay true to ourselves and not build up fictitious images from outside. If you decide it is possible, you can do anything you want. I have nothing more to add. If this video strikes you, please like, share and leave a comment. Bye.